Alright, so apparently you really love it when I talk about exclusively animated products, but there's not enough going on right now, and the Ben Tape Mikey is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna do the one thing I know how to. Make a stupid YouTube video on an animated movie or TV show and use fancy words and expressions to make you think that I know what I'm talking about so I can adhere to the algorithm. So Tales of the Jedi is a 6-episode long anthology series featuring the journey of Ahsoka as a Jedi and Count Dooku and his descent into the dark side. Sounds simple enough. When I first heard about it, I thought it was really interesting to see Dooku's different sense of justice and how that can draw a line between what it means to be a Jedi and being a Sith. And, seeing Ahsoka again is always a treat because she is a character that is designed to never fail. But that's kind of the weird in-between I have with Ahsoka in the series. She's always cool to see. I get a kick out of a character in this show, especially in Practice Makes Perfect. But, and I really hate to say this, I think that this didn't necessarily use Ahsoka to contrast Dooku here to his best ability. The main reason has to do with the runtime of these episodes. Each episode is not even 20 minutes long, and I consider that a cardinal sin. The Ahsoka episodes do a fine enough job using their time wisely to develop Ahsoka's training and origin as Jedi, but I feel like this is solely because it was clear-cut enough in between her stories that we didn't need to dive in too much into what we see here. And while it does a really great job to build Ahsoka's character more, for the premise of connecting her and Dooku, it doesn't even hold a candle to what they did with Maul and Ahsoka in the Seeds of Mandalore arc. I think if they focus more on Ahsoka's ideals and goals as a Jedi, while keeping what we've already seen in Practice Makes Perfect to resolve, they would have had a nicer flow between alternating the Dooku and Ahsoka episodes. What makes Maul's and Ahsoka's connection work tremendously well here is because we see the parallels between how the Jedi treated Ahsoka during her trial with how Sidious treated Maul when he took over Mandalore. How they both had independent mindsets instead of following the mindsets of others, only for that to be used against them. They were both tools of greater power, as one would put it. And granted, we don't nearly have enough time to build up the parallels between Ahsoka and Dooku from how short the series is. But I think it would have worked if each episode was 30 minutes long instead, and the Ahsoka episodes focused more on how she interpreted the Jedi Code and how it should be in the sense of being real peacekeepers, in contrast to Dooku thinking that the Jedi have to take drastic measures in order to get their point across. But at the same time, I don't know if this would work either because we already got enough of Ahsoka's idea of the Jedi enough in Clone Wars. It is a never-ending conundrum that has no beginning, middle, or end. So I'm just gonna throw a wild card out here and make it all the more easier on myself and say, just don't use Ahsoka. I know that is a really outlandish statement coming from me from someone who considers Ahsoka to be tied as my personal favorite Star Wars character next to Darth Maul. But if you really want to strike the arc Dooku made throughout the show, then just have other episodes focused on Jedis we haven't gotten enough screen time yet to understand their thoughts on the Jedi Code. Who knows, maybe we could have had an episode dedicated to one of the other Jedi Council members that weren't directly tied with Dooku's episodes. Focusing more on the other Jedi that hasn't had enough focus in Clone Wars would have really helped understand better as to how this conflicts with Dooku's idea of peace and justice as a Jedi. I mean, it's called Tales of the Jedi after all. So why not just go batshit crazy and throw in someone like Quinlan or Sifo Dyas or literally any other Jedi than the main ones? This is the biggest example with Filoni's problem of oversaturating his characters for fanfare. The episodes are good on its own, but don't connect too nicely with Dooku's fault or dark side. Okay, now that I've said Dooku 11 separate times for however long this video has gone on, I guess I should actually talk about how I feel about his episodes. And yeah, the runtime is still the biggest problem I have with his episodes as well. Much like the Ahsoka episodes, his part of his story isn't bad at all. I love seeing him with the young Qui-Gon and see how he struggles to restrain himself in front of his Padawan. And him arguing with Mace about what is the right thing to do versus what asked of them is something that was definitely necessary to build Mace's character as well, not just Dooku's. The fight scene with Yaddle was fantastic, and seeing his fall to the dark side happen in the time during the Phantom Menace was surprisingly effective. You think with all the stuff I have to say that's great about it that I have no complaints about it, right? Right? No TV show has left me genuinely confused of how I feel about it other than Tales of the Jedi. When I put my final score, I wouldn't even trust that as it most likely would change almost immediately. You know what? Fuck it, just click off this video right now. Don't listen to a word I say. Okay, if you're still here, I guess you would still listen to what I have to say then. Dooku's descent into the dark side feels kind of... They established the important plot points that need to be said about why he left the Jedi and his perspective as to how the Council should function, but I don't think it was explored enough just the sheer conflict of him being pulled towards the dark side. In Choices, we can clearly see that Dooku is beginning to slip into the dark side as he finds out that Mace Windu gets all the credit for their mission instead of both him and Dooku. But in the next episode, he immediately goes straight into joining Sidious's side. It feels as though there's a big chunk of the story missing between those two episodes.
Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. Ha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. Wait, never mind. Not the story.
Where was his and Sidious's first interaction? What pulling force towards the light side was there to help convince Dooku to stay with the Jedi? Dooku's episodes feel so rushed and quick to get over with, while Ahsoka's half of the show is given such time and care, using their time more effectively. If anything, they probably was better off having the whole show revolve around Dooku and seeing the other Jedi and their ideals of the code from his perspective. But if they really want to lean more towards the anthology type series, then they should have just made each episode half an hour long to expand more on the conflict Dooku clearly had with what he believed the Jedi should function versus what the Jedi Council believed. Instead, they kinda just immediately start off with his descent in justice and it being downhill from there. I think that Tales of the Jedi just played it a little too safe for what they were trying to do. It's all very clear cut and not trying to surprise you with anything. And it's honestly kind of disappointing because Star Wars has been really good at surprising us with the prequel media and giving us an exciting adventure, recontextualizing how we feel about these characters and the stories that come after. They're not bad episodes in the slightest, but I think it just left me craving for more. The show is overall good, with very nice episode structure that saves itself from the "this is just an X hour long movie" argument. But for the first real backstory given to us about Count Dooku in Star Wars film and TV show, they definitely didn't exceed my expectations like I wanted them to, and overall it just feels a tad manufactured by Disney. Overall, I think I'm gonna give Tales of the Jedi a 6 out of 10? 7? 6.5? Yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Also, I just find it hilarious that Yaddle doesn't speak how Yoda speaks, so Yoda is just seen as this senile man forever now until we get another chance of the Yoda race that we'll never get a proper name to. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been meaning to talk about Star Wars stuff for a while, but the Andor video is going to take a little longer for me to make since I have a lot to say about it. But if you like this video, be sure to comment what your thoughts are on Tales of the Jedi or my critique of it. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the little notification bell so you know if I have future content releases. It helps out the channel a lot, it's free, and you can always unsubscribe later. Also, be sure to check out my Twitch channel and my secondary channel in the description below. I'm your favorite Cowboy, signing off.